Makimaka, Merry Christmas, and welcome to the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic. Final day of action as we lead you into Game 2 of 4 on the docket. Southern Miss taking on host Hawaii in the 7th place game. It's been a long night of work for that guy right there. Santa Claus escorted to shore via canoe to be able to chill a little bit here on Christmas Day. Hope you're having a wonderful one. It's a beautiful day outside the Stan Sheriff Center as we are counting down to our championship matchup in all Cali final. San Diego State taking on San Francisco tonight at 8 Eastern on ESPN2. Back inside the arena, Kanoa Leahy alongside former Virginia standout Corey Alexander. And Corey, these are two teams that lost on the first 2 days of the tournament, so last chance to wrap things up here in this 8th annual Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic with a victory.
Well, that's the important thing. When you have an opportunity to come play in Paradise, it's fun being here, but you want to be able to walk away in a fashion to where you have some encouragement going on through the remainder of your season. So walking away with a win is important. And we have to mention, Hawaii has never gone 0-3 in this tournament. As a host, it's important for them to get a win, but Southern Miss only has one win over Division I team this season. It's important for them to get a win as well. We'll see who battles that out.
Take a look at the head coaches. Eran Ganot in his 2nd season atop the Rainbow Warriors program. Doc Sadler in year number 3. Both programs dealing with NCAA sanctions that have certainly impacted scholarships, recruiting. Hawaii still awaiting a final word on whether an appeal on a postseason ban will ultimately result in a lifting of that ban. But Southern Miss just getting over a 2-year self-imposed postseason ban. Both sanctions reflecting violations that occurred under the previous regimes. Kevin Holland committing the foul for Southern Miss as Hawaii controls off of the tip. And it will be Leland Green going to the free throw line. Green getting the start in place of Noah Allen, the 6'7" transfer from UCLA, team's top scorer and rebounder. Actually coming off the bench for the first time here this season, Corey. He's been struggling as of late. 2 points in 18 minutes versus Utah in the 2nd round, and he sat down most of the stretch.
I'm not sure if the right way to get him playing better is to bring him off the bench, but you know, for Coach Ganot, it's simply about making a change to make your team play better. And with that being said, he may feel as though Allen may have been having too much of an input as to how the team was playing and try to lessen a little bit of his impact.
There's a poke away by Green and a takeaway by the Rainbow Warriors. Brock Steptoe gets it over to Jack Purchase. Lining up the 3, can't hit. He has been going through some cold streaks here as of late, although he did drop 13 points in the loss to Utah. But Hawaii overall has failed to shoot 30% or better in the last 2 outings. Quentin Campbell a little long there. Campbell is Southern Miss's top scorer at 10.5 per. Hawaii coming in with a 4-7 overall record. Southern Miss 3-8. The first ever meeting between these two. Extra pass. It's Sharif Dramé open for 3. That one a little long. And Cortez Edwards taps it to himself.
But you mentioned the shooting woes that the Rainbow Warriors have had this season. And you see they're getting good looks, just unable to knock them down. But a lot of it has to do with the fact that there are a lot of newcomers in the program. The turnover, as guys are really starting to kind of get their sea legs as to how they need to be able to operate in the college basketball game. And to this point, they really haven't been able to figure it out, especially on the offensive end. Defensively, they've actually been pretty good. It's offensively where they've struggled.
Here's Steptoe putting up the contested shot. Looked like he may have had Gibson Johnson on the roll, wasn't able to get it to him, and it belongs to Southern Miss.
Agree, but you know, the size in the paint right there took away some of the vision from Steptoe, but that's one where Johnson may have had to go get it off the glass. If you're unable to catch the basketball in position to score, go get it off the glass.
Speaking of size, Southern Miss playing without 6'11" sophomore usual starter Tim Rowe. He's been playing with a broken foot all season long, and it sort of flared up on him here on this trip to Hawaii. So he didn't play in the last game for Southern Miss, and he sits this one as well, as all these teams sort of holding any players that are borderline injured, they're a little concerned about. They're holding them out because obviously conference play right around the corner.
Absolutely, and when you know that you're going to have to play against your conference and the familiarity that it is makes it so much more difficult,
as Raheem Watts got caught in the air, and it belongs to Hawaii.
You want to be at your best as you get into conference play. And we've seen a number of coaches with guys that do have somewhat nagging injuries have pulled them out. One we could see, Malik Pope, whether he'll be able to play tonight for San Diego State, an important piece to their puzzle, if he'll be able to go in the championship game versus San Francisco.
Saw Tim Rowe moments there watching from the bench. Teams a combined 0 for 7 from the floor. That one out of bounds stays in the direction of the Golden Eagles.
And they have no excuse. 10 o'clock game for these guys. Now, Utah and Stephen F. Austin played at 7:30 this morning, and Utah came out making shots. Now, granted, a lot of those were dunks by David Collette and right around the rim. Yet, they came out making shots. So these teams have no excuse on the time, especially.
Shot by Holland, and he breaks the ice.
That's right, Kevin Holland. You let it be known. No excuses. Holland's able to come off and knock down the jumper.
He's averaging just over 6 points per outing. Southern Miss up 1. Here's Brock Steptoe. He can shoot it, and he shows it right there. He is a walk-on from Dallas, Texas, who has slowly crept up the depth chart. He's now starting at point guard.
You see what happened there? I had to let them know there were no excuses. Before that, they were going to use it. Until then, after that, they know there's no excuses. We got to start making shots. And just like that, we've seen 3 consecutive makes on 3 consecutive possessions offensively for each team.
And follow up there by Eddie Davis. He's the team's top rebounder. Dramé gets it over to Purchase. Wide open. Got it. He is a 33% three-point shooter. That is certainly his comfort zone, spotting up and hitting.
And you love the ball movement by Hawaii there, understanding one more pass by Steptoe, getting it off to Purchase, who needed to see the ball go through the basket and is able to get a wide open look and knock it down.
Now all of a sudden they can't miss.
You heard me say it, Noah. They just had to know there was no excuses. Holland coming off, unable to finish that 3.
Utah winning the 5th place game, which was a 7:30 a.m. start time here in the islands. 74-66 the final there. They won by 8.
You happy about your numbers? The fact that you got
Dramé in the corner.
The Iolani School is proud of you for doing your math.
5 seconds on the clock. Steptoe tried to find Johnson. And Southern Miss comes out of there with it. Southern Miss losing to San Diego State in the opening round of the tourney. And then on day 2, lost to Stephen F. Austin. Davis lost his balance, and he walks with it. It's a 7-4 advantage for the host team, Hawaii. The 7th place game.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Hawaiian Airlines, sponsor of the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic. Hawaii flies with us. Outrigger Hotels and Resorts. Welcome to a world away at Outrigger Hotels and Resorts. And Gildan. Every thread counts.
Hawaii by 3 here in the early going of the 7th place game of the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic. A lot of new faces, a lot of new names for this Rainbow Warrior team. Last year, of course, they reached unprecedented heights under first-year head coach Eran Ganot as they made it to the NCAA tournament for the 5th time in history, and in fact, won an NCAA tournament game for the first time in the history of the program. Stefan Jankovic led the way throughout the season. He was the Big West Conference Player of the Year. They defeated Cal in the round of 64 before losing to Maryland in the round of 32. But those were certainly much more splendid and happier days, at least by comparison to the way things have started here this season. They lost 10 letter winners, and in fact, their only regular rotational player to return was Sharif Dramé, who averaged less than 2 points per game last year.
But they still have their play-by-play analyst, correct?
They do.
Okay, well, you know, that makes up for a lot. They still got Kanoa. Now, let me ask you, were you actually there for the NCAA tournament?
I was.
Did you get to be a part of that?
I was not. No.
Oh, well, then never mind.
Thanks for bringing that up. Steptoe for 3 from straight on. That's his 2nd.
Steptoe off to the great start. Recently becoming a starter in the Hawaii lineup and is taking advantage of his opportunities.
So a 6-0 Hawaii run. hence the 6-point advantage. And it's a blocking foul called as Quentin Campbell tried to rise up on Leland Green.
And Hawaii's done a great job moving the basketball so far. The extra pass, giving up a good shot for a great shot. And that time, Steptoe making it great as he knocks down his second three-pointer of the morning.
Quentin Campbell averaging 9.5 points per game in this tournament. Misses the first free throw. We talked about the turnover in personnel. It happened on the Southern Miss side as well. They lost a slew of players, including top scorer Cortland Jackson, who averaged just under 15 a game as a senior. But part of the turnover for Hawaii certainly attributed to the postseason ban in effect this year, at least to this point. You had players that were able to transfer without penalty. A couple of players who decided to turn pro as opposed to coming back for what would have been their senior campaigns. As Noah Allen, who just checked into the game, loses control of it. So now Bilal Abdul-Rahim leads the break. And he got caught mid-step and is called for traveling.
And Abdul-Rahim, we saw him with a number of beautiful passes on Friday. But that time, getting out in transition, it has to be looking to score. It's a one-on-one situation. You can't be looking for one of your teammates to bail you out. Take the ball to the rim and try to score.
Edo Fleischer, the freshman in the post. They tried to get it to him for Hawaii. Taken away, and the coast-to-coast effort by Quentin Campbell, and it finished wedged up against the hoop.
I'm rarely speechless, but not really sure what to say about that one.
That's what you would call a game over if I'm out there playing pickup game, because unless you have a broomstick, I ain't getting that.
I will say that is a soft touch. You could get that. Maybe not. That's actually above the rim.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah, no, you better recognize, Corey.
Well, there's always a second basketball in the gym. You can just throw it up there and knock it off.
Campbell hitting the first free throw. He's a 71% free throw shooter. Second free throw is good as well. Got to credit some of the home team fans for coming out on Christmas morning pretty early.
Yeah, absolutely. That means you've got to get the kids up even earlier to see what Santa bought them, then to get dressed and come out to the game. But then it also is always great to put on your Christmas outfit to be able to come to a basketball game. So that could be motivation.
Well, green, one of the traditional Christmas colors, and Hawaii, of course, donned in green. And we're going to have a foul away from the basketball called against Hawaii, so Southern Miss takes over. We'll have 3 more star-studded games for you as our annual NBA on Christmas Day tradition continues following Warriors-Cavs. It is Bulls taking on the Spurs, then to ESPN for T-Wolves Thunder, wrapping up the day at 10:30 with the Clippers versus the Lakers. All 4 games can also be seen on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN. Warriors up a few in the second quarter. Quentin Campbell, that one off the heel. If you heard us reading that promo, then we're glad you're joining us.
Exactly. Stay with us.
Leland Green grabbing the ball
later.
Leland Green, the runner. Too hard off the glass. Here's Edwards. Oh, he got that one spanked from behind by Leland Green. Great effort up and down the floor.
That's a 2-hand block. You rarely see that in basketball, but 2 hands, well, the right didn't really make contact. But that ball had no chance. Green was going to make sure he denied that shot attempt.
That was volleyball style there, but Hawaii with the turnover on the inbound. Or excuse me, Southern Miss with the turnover on the inbound. Hawaii takes over.
Volleyball huge here as well.
It's a big sport.
Yeah, I actually watched it's called a match, correct?
Correct.
I watched a volleyball match on one of our off days when we first got here. Of course, you were here commentating it, as you're always all over the TV every time I come to Hawaii. But I actually got into it. I liked it.
It's gaining ground. So the ratings for the Final Four of the Women's Volleyball Championship pulled in some good numbers as Jack Purchase gets fouled on the inbound. And Hawaii, one of the few programs in the country that is a moneymaker, as you see some of the successes over the years, including 4 national championships for the women's volleyball program under legendary head coach Dave Shoji. But Hawaii, one of the top programs in terms of attendance per home game, up there with Nebraska. You're starting to see in the Big Ten a lot of programs drawing some huge crowds. So it's a sport, certainly on the women's side, that has continued to gain popularity and notoriety here in recent years.
And I'm sure recruiting isn't a problem, trying to get some of the best volleyball players in the country to come to Hawaii and play. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, the Diamond Head Classic recruits me once a year, and I fall for it every time. And I'll fall for it again.
Something Steve Fisher should have thought about when he was coaching Michigan, as we went over the other day.
Move Michigan to Hawaii.
Here's Edwards, left corner for 3. Yes, you like his game.
I really do. I think that he's had a very productive tournament. He started the tournament coming off the bench as the backup point guard, was inserted into the starting lineup in the second game and again today. And I think that he's really the answer for this team at the point guard position. You know, in the interim, I believe they have a point guard who's been injured trying to come back, but I like Edwards as the way he's run the show here over this weekend.
That was the first made field goal for Southern Miss in almost 4.5 minutes. Hawaii has to hoist to beat the shot clock. It is Zigmar's Raimo freshly inserted into the game who misses, but an offensive board and another stab at it for the Bows. Gibson Johnson underneath, got fouled. So a 3-point advantage for Hawaii. That last foul called on Bilal Abdul-Rahim. Hope you're having a mele kalikimaka from Honolulu, Hawaii. Well, if you're thinking about flying into the islands for next year's Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic, this is the field that you'll be looking forward to seeing in action. What do you make of this collection of teams for the 2017 edition of the tournament?
Well, I love that field. USC now 13-0, representing the Pac-12. Miami from the ACC. Davidson, Bob McKillop, and his group representing the Atlantic 10. I think you have a number of very good teams. And, of course, it'll be interesting to see the evolution of Hawaii and what they look like a year from now as they've gotten further away from, we have no idea yet what are the NCAA sanctions, but it's always interesting for me to see them and how they, because last year I had an opportunity to watch them. I came back and watched the game live when they played Oklahoma, and they were amazing. Honestly, I thought that they should have won that game. That night they looked like the better team, and so when you saw them have success in the NCAA tournament last year, it wasn't a surprise for people that had watched Hawaii during the season.
Johnson misses the first free throw, misses the second. And that's sort of what makes this year's run through the Diamond Head Classic such a novelty for Hawaii. They've never gone 0-3 in this tournament. Now it's in its 8th year, as Johnson able to just pick that one out of the air.
You know, that was a play where, as we see it again on the other side, the anticipation defensively.
Ooh. And Watts gets hammered from behind by Raimo. A well-earned trip to the free throw line, but some defensive stick-em.
Absolutely. Looked like 2 defensive backs out here. The first one, Davis pretty much just throws this in the hands, but this one on Edwards is able to snatch it up and getting out on the foul. That, of course, always looks a lot worse than it really was the first time you see it. Watts going up 1 foot off balance.
Watts averaging 8 points on the season, had 14 against San Diego State in the opening round loss. Just 4 points and fouled out in the second round loss to Stephen F. Austin. Second free throw is good as well. It's a 1-point contest here. Under 11 minutes to play in the opening half. It's a battle for 7th place. Final day of the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic. Panoa Leahy and Corey Alexander happy to be coming to you from the Stan Sheriff Center in Honolulu, Hawaii. Noah Allen, much needed 3 for him. Just 2 points in 18 minutes versus Utah. And again, sat down the stretch of that one. Coming off the bench for the first time this season, the UCLA transfer drills that 3.
Yeah, Allen only was 1 for 6 for that game, so good for him to see the basketball go in and go in early. I'm sure that'll build some confidence for him moving forward.
Watts trying to find his mate on the other side. It was D'Angelo Richardson, but it winds up in the Hawaii bench.
And give Noah Allen credit. for moving without the basketball. More importantly, there was no hesitation on the shot. He caught it and knew that he had open look. Shot it confidently and knocked it down.
And we got a whistle away from the ball. It's going to go against Raimo. Zigmar's Raimo. The joke around these parts is that he fouls like most people breathe.
Well, you can't take them with you, so you might as well use them while you're out there. Just don't use them all too early because it keeps you from being out there even longer.
Here's Watts. Richardson kicks it left to Ramey for three. Nice looking jump shot there for Michael Ramey.
And Ramey has knocked down a couple over the tournament that have been big baskets for Southern Miss. Although they haven't gotten a win, he's had a couple of shots that have gotten them back into games.
Here's Allen in the post, getting a low touch and finishing the deal. It's interesting how when Allen is able to hit perimeter buckets, it tends to open the rest of his game up.
And it normally is the opposite direction. You get a basket early around the rim, and that allows you to shoot it better as Ramey knocks down a second straight three from the exact same spot as the previous possession.
We're knotted up at 17 with 9 minutes to play in the first.
But you normally see guys get an easy basket, go in, and then they make the jump shot. You're saying it's the opposite for Noah Allen.
Here he is on the left wing. Left that one short, got his own miss, and then was rudely met at the apex by Eddie Davis III, saying "Aole," which is Hawaiian for nope.
Well, it's definitely not Hawaiian for Merry Christmas, and that is almost a rude way to treat someone on a Christmas day, the way Eddie Davis comes up with a huge block. Noah Allen off the miss, chased down his own shot. Eddie Davis being Mr. Scrooge here for the Golden Eagles.
A different variation on the term stocking stuffer. Ten seconds on the shot clock. Here's Leland Green from the left corner. He hits a three. He has struggled from long range. That's just his fifth make in 24 attempts on the season. But it gives Hawaii a three-point advantage. Five seconds to shoot. Holland somehow split the defenders. And he'll earn his way to the free throw line. Hawaii, by the way, 5 of 9 from outside the property line.
And that's where they've done the majority of their damage.
Timeout on the floor. It is a beautiful Christmas day here in Honolulu, Hawaii. Can't ask for a more picturesque day here to celebrate the Christmas holiday in the islands. The 2016 Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic coming to a conclusion in the championship game at 8 Eastern on ESPN2, San Diego State and San Francisco. The Dons have been shooting the heck out of the basketball in the Stan Sheriff Center this week, and their bench has been performing overtime. 52 bench points in the win against Utah in the opening round. They outscored Illinois State in the semifinal 45-10 in bench scoring. And really a trifecta of bench players who have been doing the majority of the damage. Ronnie Boyce, Frankie Ferrari, and Charles Minley.
Now, wait a minute. You're going to talk about my guy Frankie Ferrari like that, and you're not going to put emphasis on his name? Frankie Ferrari, baby. It's Christmas Day. Where is my Ferrari? I thank you for the candy that you bought me, but I wanted a Ferrari. That's what I asked Santa for. And being that I'm, Santa might have taken it to my house. But being that I'm here with you, you were supposed to deliver my Ferrari.
No, you're going to get it in the championship game. You just got to stay to watch that thing. It's going to be out on the floor shooting threes.
No, I would prefer to go and actually listen to Dino Gaudio and Roxy Bernstein call that game. And I said that with a straight face.
Very convincing.
Those are my guys.
It is certainly good to have all of you guys back here in the islands. It's been fun here over the run of the 8 years of this Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic. Down low, Josh Conley missing the contested layup.
I listen to Dino and Roxy. Well, of course, when we're off games and I watch them, And I hear Dino talking to Roxy a lot about him playing basketball. Now, Dino still plays. You know, Coach Dino, he still plays. He likes to get after it. We might have to take those guys out on the court at some point. We definitely have the size advantage. No question there. We might have to take them out and invite those guys for a 2-on-2 game somewhere on the tropical courts.
Yeah, they're definitely not playing center for their respective recreational teams. Here's Purchase, left corner. Got another 3 to go. That's his second made triple.
And Hawaii doing the majority of their damage from beyond the three-point arc. Continue to shoot the basketball well. Now 6 3-pointers here early in this game. And Southern Miss going to have to tighten up and really start to run those shooters off the line.
Abdur-Rahim gets it out to Campbell, under 10 on the shot clock. Edwards, and a rebound off to Allen. Southern Miss shooting 29% from the floor. That's a deep one from Jermaine. Any thoughts on the pacing so far here in this opening half?
Well, you know, you're really trying to figure out what is Southern Miss's pace right now because they play with so many different guys throughout this season. I believe they're still trying to figure out what their identity is. Now, when Tim Rowe is playing for them, they have that big guy that can affect things in the paint. But now, hold on. Let's start with Doc. Let's go to Doc. Okay. My guy, Doc Sadler, looking great on the sidelines. But how good do you have to be feeling about things to wear the lei?
He's rocking the lei. Yeah.
I mean, you got to be feeling good vibes to rock the lei during the game. Now, here's the scary part. You see coaches in the middle of the games often lose their temper, peel off their jacket. That lei could be in danger if a call doesn't go the way Doc wants it. That lei could definitely be in danger. Doc could rip that thing off there pretty quickly.
That's a good point, as that one will stay in the direction of Hawaii.
And ripping off a lei on Christmas Day is not a good thing. It's not a good look.
Probably not.
Love Doc Sadler. Great personality. Opportunity to talk to him on Wednesday and spend some time with him while his team was practicing. Just a lot of fun to be around him. And he knows that he has a challenge ahead of him where his program is right now dealing with the NCAA sanctions. And he took this job before any of that actually came into place. But he's encouraged by what he feels as though he can do in the future of this program at Southern Miss to turn it back into a winner.
Here's Edwards on the hard drive. That one off the glass a little hard. Sharif Jermaine into the front court. Doc Sadler going up against Hawaii a few times back when he was head coach at UTEP.
But Doc had a lot of success at UTEP and in Nebraska, a number of stops along his way to get to Southern Miss. He's seen the NCAA a few times himself.
Here's Steptoe. Threads the needle, layup not there, and it's going to be a foul on Ito Fleischer for Hawaii, so Southern Miss takes over. So Southern Miss going through, obviously, the NCAA sanctions, a 3-year probation period, the 2-year postseason ban. It was self-imposed, and the NCAA accepted that punishment. Reduction of 4 more scholarships over the next 3 years. A 10-year show cause penalty for former head coach Donnie Tyndall. The violations attached to that previous regime. Other sanctions included fines and show cause penalties for grad assistants. Now, the NCAA concluded that that former regime engaged in academic fraud and provided improper financial aid during Tyndall's 2-season tenure. And so Southern Miss now experiencing the fallout of all of that.
You know, and the NCAA often gets a bad rap as being the bad guy. You know, the case with Hawaii is they've somewhat dragged their feet in the appeal process with the probation. And even with, you know, Southern Miss, and I don't want to be the guy that gangs up on the NCAA, but none of these guys had anything to do with that. I mean, Doc Sadler as a coach had nothing to do with it. So you're penalizing people that didn't actually commit the crime. And I understand the program and the academic institution as well, but I think you have to go a little more so for the people who actually did the damage than you do the next group, because you really cripple a program moving into the future with that. And I guess that's more so to kind of take away the revenue from the university.
That is the conundrum, though, and we've seen it. It's sort of the eternal problem in trying to levy sanctions and punishment on programs for past violations. So is there a solution to that? Is there another methodology that the NCAA could apply?
Well, I'm not sure. I think the 10-year show cause to Donnie Tyndall is part of that. But I don't think that you really hurt the basketball program, especially the current guys and coaches, as much as they are in both of these programs by crippling them the way that you are with the reduction of scholarships and everything else that goes on within the program. I don't have a solution for it, but I hope that there be some type of compromise in the middle.
Johnson layup extends Hawaii's run to 10-1. They lead by 9 here in Honolulu, Hawaii. Welcome back. We'll have 3 more star-studded games for you as our annual NBA on Christmas Day tradition continues. Following the NBA Finals rematch, Warriors and Cavs, the Bulls taking on the Spurs. Then to ESPN for T-Wolves Thunder, wrapping up the day at 10:30 with the Clippers versus Lakers. All 4 games can also be seen on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Career points per game on Christmas Day numbers. How about your former teammate, Tracy McGrady?
My young fella Sleep. Used to be my young fella. We're both old now. With teammates in Orlando, 2001, Tracy McGrady. 43 a game on 3 Christmas appearances. T-Mac had to retire way too young. Back issues got him, but fortunate to see he's actually a candidate for the Hall of Fame. And I can tell you that maybe the most talented basketball player I've ever played with.
How about Tracy McGrady averaging 40 more points on Christmas Day than my man Corey Alexander?
Probably not as many points per minute, though. Aha! Silver lining, baby. I am a glass half full type of guy, especially when it comes to my own numbers.
That's true. 3 points, 4 minutes. That's efficiency right there. Here's a takeaway by Cortez Edwards. And a nice finish and drop off to Abdur Rahim. So a 7-point contest here. Final day of the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic. This one for 7th place. These teams trying to prevent leaving the Diamond Head Classic with an 0-3 record, and Jack Purchase doing what he can to help the cause. That's his 3rd make from outside the arc. He's got 11.
And such an advantage to have your 4-man who's capable of stepping out and knocking down the 3, the definition of a stretch 4. But it leaves the middle of the floor so open for your guards to be able to penetrate, especially when you've got a guy like Purchase. You can kick it out, too, for 3.
A hustle play by Jack Purchase as he falls on the loose ball and signals successfully for a timeout. So 2:15 left to play in this opening half, and the Rainbow Warriors doing the majority of their damage from downtown.
Boy, it rarely rains threes for the Rainbow Warriors here today, but it has been on Christmas Day. The gift from Santa has been from beyond the arc. Steptoe has knocked down 2. Allen has gotten involved in the mix, and Purchase has hit a couple threes as well. So everyone getting involved. Not a Christmas party, but a 3-point party here for the Rainbow Warriors.
You need a little rain to make a rainbow. Hawaii right now up 10.
Get a lot more rain here than I thought, but the sun still shines. You know, we walk outside the other day and it's raining, but the sun is shining. I mean, you know, this is not the type of weather we get in Virginia, just so you know. So, I mean, again, I know you're spoiled rotten and you get to live here. You don't appreciate these things.
How can I not? You remind me of it just about every moment we're on the air.
That's what I'm here for, to remind you of how fortunate you are to have grown up and live here.
Oh, that is certainly true, that's for sure. And spending the holidays in the islands, which has been the case for you here the last few years?
No, few is 4. I've only been here 3. And your life has been so much the greater because of it. Tell the truth.
Let's get back to calling the action, shall we?
You don't want to admit it.
Here's Gibson Johnson trying to get it back up top, and it's going to be a backcourt violation for Hawaii. Under 2 minutes to play here in this first half. Eran Ganot signed a 2-year contract extension through the 2019-2020 season, coming off of a Big West Conference Coach of the Year campaign a year ago.
And how about fortunate? Where teams are fortunate to be able to come over and play in a tournament like this. Not only is Hawaii do they have the opportunity to call this their home court? But they get 3 in-season tournaments. This is their 3rd in-season tournament of the year, so great experience for Coach Gnat to really have opportunities to play against quality competition and put his team in a situation to where they understand how to play in tournament fashion, which often helps when you get to the postseason tournament for your conference at the end of the year.
And you got to like that. I mean, these are 2 teams that have struggled. They are 0-2 in this tournament. They're fighting and clawing just to record a win here before this Diamond Head Classic wraps up. But you're seeing bodies hitting the deck. You're seeing guys fight for loose balls. They want to win, and that effort is going to make these 2 coaches happy. And
not only is it about getting a win today, but these 2 teams are still trying to develop identity, develop a culture as to how these coaches are going to be able to proceed throughout their careers at their respective schools. Doc Sadler, of course, in his 3rd year at Southern Miss, Coach Gnat in his 2nd year at Hawaii. So, and with the turnover, they're still trying to establish what they want to get across their players to be able to do on a consistent basis.
Traveling against Josh Conley, that's the 11th turnover for Southern Miss. That matches the amount of turnovers by Hawaii. Here's Gibson Johnson underneath against Abdur Rahim.
Nice move by Johnson there to use the rim as a shield. And finishing on the other side of the basket, that was a big-time screen by Watts.
Holland off the mark from 3. Green a rebound. Here's Johnson again down low, finding Purchase on the other side.
But Gibson has so much room to work because of the shooters on the perimeter. And that time, I believe Purchase may have thrown Green off by not passing it immediately.
And then Allen following it up with another missed 3. Shot clock is off. Abdur Rahim attacking the hoop, though, right up against Gibson Johnson. Returns the favor a little bit, and Hawaii can hold for the last possession of this first half. A 10-point Rainbow Warrior run, or lead, I should say, after a late half run. Step toe. He got blocked by Abdur Rahim, who hoists it length of the floor. And that's how this first 20 minutes comes to an end. Hawaii leads 32-22. But the Rainbow Warriors showing some skill from long range.
Well, the 3 has been the story. Noah Allen knocking one down. And then it's Purchase from the corner as Hawaii leads 32-22 at the half.
Welcome back to Honolulu, Hawaii. You're watching the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic on a beautiful Christmas day here in the islands. Hawaii right now on top of Southern Miss in the battle for 7th place. 32-22 at the half. And at halftime, a little game of basketball, musical chairs, and how about this winning play, quote unquote, Corey
It's
Alexander.
about going as hard as you can go. It's Christmas Day. Everyone's watching. But winning is not everything. It's the only thing, but the chair loses.
That's one of those congratulations with a question mark on the victory.
I'm not sure who wins other than us.
Yeah. Other than the world. Merry Christmas for sure. Kanoa alongside former Virginia great Corey Alexander. We can say who's winning on the scoreboard. That's Hawaii, and certainly a guy who helped them get there, Jack Purchase.
Well, and they're winning because of Jack Purchase's ability to knock down the three-pointer, and Hawaii has shot the ball extremely well. But Purchase, who hasn't had a great tournament so far, has really gotten himself in a number of positions to where he's been able to be successful and knock down threes from different corners, as well as continue to pass the basketball. The shooting for Hawaii has been very good in the first half, especially when they've gotten their opportunities beyond the arc.
11 points for Jack Purchase on 3 of 5 shooting. All of his attempts coming outside the arc. He also hit a couple of free throws. Hawaii as a team shooting just 30% for the season, but 7 of 15 through the first 20 minutes. Ended the first half on a 12-4 run. Southern Miss with 10 bench points. That's been one of the bright spots for them, but they still trail here by double digits, and the Rainbow Warriors with the possession to start things off in the second stanza.
That's beautiful execution by Hawaii coming out of the half. Gibson actually had a layup. He hesitated on shooting and got fouled still, but you got to love the execution and the design by Coach Gnat coming out of the halftime.
Gibson Johnson, the transfer from Salt Lake Community College in Utah, helped the Bruins win the JUCO national title last season. He was actually teammates with Utah's Tyler Rawson over there at Salt Lake Junior College.
Not hard to figure out why they won the national championship now when you got that type of talent.
Nice looking three from Eddie Davis III. Apropos name there for the results on that shot, and it's a 9-point Hawaii advantage. Here's Brock Steptoe, hit a couple of threes in the first half, off the mark there, and the rebound caroms to Cortez Edwards. Edwards down the lane. Offensive board by Davis, the putback not there, and how about the effort of Edwards to keep the possession alive?
You know, those are plays that Edwards has finished for the majority of this tournament when he's gotten his opportunity to get into the lane. So give Hawaii credit for recognizing his strengths and really affecting Edwards as he's been able to get to the rim here this morning.
Davis missing from three. You know, it seemed as though both teams were somewhat struggling to get into a rhythm, and so it was hard to sort of decipher the pace of that first half. As Johnson goes to the short jump hook, although he can barely use the word jump.
And Johnson's not a overly tall guy. He's undersized, playing at the center position down there, but maneuvers very well and, of course, uses his body well to be able to get his shots off.
He's kind of got that YMCA sort of old man game, right? There's certainly not a lot of spring. You wouldn't describe him as being an above the rim guy, but he uses his body so well. He has some of those old tricks of the trade.
Crafty is what you call him. Crafty. You've been Mr. SAT word all day today. Keep it simple. Crafty, that's what he is.
That's certainly true.
You hit me with a word in the first half. I'm still a little spinning a bit. I don't know what I can't remember the word.
I wouldn't dwell on it if I were you.
Believe me, I won't.
Here's Drame off the glass, not there. And stepping out of bounds, trying to secure the rebound was Quentin Campbell. Some of that craftiness from Gibson Johnson earlier.
And Gibson, he really hesitated on the shot earlier. This time he took advantage of his opportunities. And moving away from the basket, gets great position, and then the patience to be able to finish on the post.
Hawaii scrambles for the offensive rebound. Johnson will try a three. And finally pulled down by Raheem Watts for Southern Miss. And Gibson Johnson, despite what we're describing in his game, he can still score on much taller players as a foul is committed. After Southern Miss had lost control of the basketball, Raheem Watts picks it up.
And there's another one of those possessions for Southern Miss where there's a play design and there are different options in the play, and that option's just not there. Watts tries to throw a lob pass over the top, but he never takes account of the fact that the defender is standing in front of him with the arms, his arms extended. You're going to throw it right into the hands of your opponent.
Purchase, extra pass down low to Fleischer, exhibiting good hands, and the freshman standing at 6'10" from Israel lays it up and in.
And nice high-low basketball right there. Purchase it with the fact that he's knocked down 3 3-pointers already. Southern Miss has to get out there. Two guys are flying at him to take away the shot, leaving a teammate open wide under the basket.
Campbell, that one rattles in and out on him. Offensive board, Edwards. Got stripped on the way up, still has it. Another three try by Campbell. And the rebound off to the smallest guy on the floor, Brock Steptoe.
I like the way Hawaii's been very patient in getting the shots that they wanted to get on the offensive end of the floor throughout this game. And really doing more so just spreading it out and giving each other opportunities, playing as a team. You see the high-low. Because of Purchase's ability to shoot, Watts is scrambling out there. Abdur-Rahim can't get back in time to deter the layup.
Green with his feet on the line misses. And Southern Miss scoreless, meanwhile, over the last 3.5 minutes. That's sort of what I was getting to, though. Hawaii seems to have a little more rhythm and flow offensively, at least in terms of ball movement to start the second half.
And when you're playing in this game, of course, both teams have been unable to get a win here in this tournament. But when you're playing in this game, it has to be about more than just showing up and being a part of it. You have to have that desire to want to come out here and play well and build some momentum moving forward, because that's what it's about. It's not necessarily about just getting that one win. You're trying to play for the remainder of your season and have something to build on.
A foul called against Sharif Drameh at midcourt. 38-25, Hawaii on top. Santa finally gets to relax and enjoy the island life. Closing in on the college football playoff New Year's Eve, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Washington and Alabama at 3 p.m. Eastern, followed by the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, Ohio State versus Clemson at 7 p.m. Corey Alexander, I've asked you this question a number of times, but you are anticipating Alabama-Clemson rematch in the national championship.
I'm anticipating an Alabama-Clemson rematch. No disrespect to Ohio State or Washington, both very good teams, but I think we'll have a rematch of last year's national championship with a different result, with the Clemson Tigers walking away victorious this year.
Starting a whole new Christmas Day tradition in that family. Noah Allen gets his hand in the passing lane again. Noah Allen, who was the top scorer and rebounder, as well as the team leader in steals coming into this game, came off the bench for the first time this season. As Eran Ganot and company trying to just give him a different look here. He is the UCLA grad transfer. Played for 3 years for Steve Alford, appeared in 71 games, but was a true role player there, having to adopt a different mindset here as a go-to type of player for this Hawaii team. A miss from the perimeter for Watts.
See some of that same action we saw in the first possession of the game, where Hawaii was able to execute so well, and great execution there as well to get Steptoe a good look at the top of the key, unable to finish it.
Drop off from Edwards to Abdur Rahim.
That's another example of Cortez Edwards and his ability to be able to get his teammates involved simply by being aggressive. He's not always going to the paint to try to score for himself, but his penetration often opens up opportunities for his teammates.
Fleischer, backdoor cut by Allen. That one deflected out of bounds.
Cortez Edwards has done that primarily for the entire tournament for Southern Miss, just touching the paint, and instead of forcing a shot, sees a better opportunity for Bilal Abdur-Rahim, as Abdur-Rahim is able to finish the layup.
Abdur-Rahim playing his way out of at least the perceived doghouse that racked up a few DNPs along the way, as Purchase hits one from Diamond Head Crater. He continues to feel the flow. He's got 14 to lead everybody.
He's played very well and allowed his guards to really be able to get into the paint with his ability to shoot the basketball. And a lot of the times, Hawaii has created 2-on-1 situations on offense.
Well, the denial at the rim, it was Fleischer getting a good piece of it as Jack Purchase keeps the hot hand, now 4 of 7 from outside the arc.
And it's often someone else making the play, as we see Steptoe constricting the defense just by touching the paint. And that help alone by Abdur-Rahim gives Purchase enough room to get off that three-pointer.
We got a whistle on the rebound. It's going to go against Southern Miss. Abdur-Rahim picks it up. Abdur-Rahim, the younger brother of Sharif Abdur-Rahim, who went on to star at Cal, played 13 seasons in the NBA. One of 13 children in the family, and in fact, he and Sharif are 23 years apart. Purchase out in front. Fleischer, what a rebound! And he'll go to the free throw line.
And Hawaii now tracking down their own misses as they add that dimension to their offense. they become a little more dangerous, especially with their ability to shoot the three, because they're going to be long shots when you're taking those from outside.
Fleischer, a 68% free throw shooter. Monday isn't just Boxing Day, it's Bowl Day. We'll have 3 more games for you at 11 a.m. Eastern. It's the St. Petersburg Bowl, Miami of Ohio and Mississippi State. Then the Quick Lane Bowl, Maryland and Boston College, both on ESPN. Then we'll wrap up the day with the NC State-Vanderbilt matchup in the Camping World Independence Bowl at 5 on ESPN2. All 3 games also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
Now, you are, of course, one of my people that I go to for knowledge of all things, right? Is Monday's Boxing Day?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't understand.
Following the New Year's weekend.
Get me there. I don't understand boxing. What is boxing is because you're boxing stuff up or what?
I guess it could go for that. It's a Canadian holiday.
So you don't know? So you actually don't know? Well, I'm asking you and you don't know the answer to this question?
You can box up all the decorations and all of that stuff.
I thought that was after New Year's. Don't you leave your tree up till after New Year's? I mean, my tree's often up till like February, honestly. but aren't you supposed to do that after New Year's? Don't you leave the tree up after?
I guess
Christmas?
the tradition is to leave it up until after New Year's, yeah.
So would that make Monday Boxing Day then? I mean, I'm asking you these things because I don't know.
Yeah.
You know. And I'd like to put you on the spot to see if you know. And apparently you don't know either.
All right, we are getting our crack investigative team together here on Boxing Day. A holiday celebrated on the day following Christmas in the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth nations. Occurred on December 26th.
Okay, so you can read Google, but that's all you got.
I don't see you helping the cause.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about basketball.
Ramey misses the runner. Abdur-Rahim then fouled trying to follow it up.
I believe Abdur-Rahim has found his niche with the Southern Miss team. He's come off the bench with, we saw him on Friday pushing the ball full court, distributing to his teammates, playing with a lot of energy. And then we see him again today on the offensive glass. He scored a number of times on the break. I believe he belongs in the lineup with this team. I'm not sure why he wasn't playing earlier, and I didn't get an opportunity to talk with Doc Sadler about it, but he seems to be a guy that brings, energy and brings positive to this lineup when he's on the court. You're still spinning over Boxing Day, huh? I can tell. I can tell by the look in your eyes. I just come to you for things that I don't know, and unfortunately this time you kind of let me down.
Southern Miss now 1 for 12 on field goal attempts here in this second half.
And Hawaii, in turn, is operating very well on their offensive end of the floor. The ball movement, changing sides of the floor, often leads to opportunities beyond the arc as they continue to move the basketball.
The three by Leland Green left it short, but he saves it along the baseline. The official blowing an inadvertent whistle.
Well, it would have been a shot clock violation, but the ball did hit the rim.
And so we will instead take a timeout on the floor with 11:44 left to play. 42-27, Hawaii on top, as Corey and I will look up Boxing Day during the break. Championship matchup, an all-Cali final here in the 8th annual Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic, San Diego State and San Francisco to tip things up at 8 Eastern on ESPN2.
As I jump on Hawaiian Airlines today, guess when I'll get home?
When?
On Boxing Day.
You know, it's interesting that you bring that up, Corey. We've done a little bit of research. You know, in Britain, it was a custom for tradespeople to collect Christmas boxes of money or presents on the first weekday after Christmas as thanks for good service throughout the year. So there you go.
Okay. I thank you for clearing that up for me. At least I know what day Boxing Day is now.
Yeah. As Gibson Johnson gets loose underneath again. Good ball movement by the Rainbow Warriors.
Yeah, Hawaii's execution has been tremendous. And now we see a careless turnover by Southern Miss. And along with the turnovers and the offensive execution from Hawaii, they've been able to separate themselves. Now a 17-point lead here in the second half. A 10-point lead at halftime for the Rainbow Warriors, and they've continued to stretch it out. But Southern Miss really hasn't been able to operate very well on their offensive end at all, and turnovers have just compounded their mistakes.
You got a whistle away from the basketball. It's going to go against Eddie Davis. That's his third personal. Hawaii to inbound from the baseline. The Rainbow Warriors keeping the pressure on. Southern Miss shooting just 25% from the field. Hawaii, to its credit, shooting 39%. They haven't topped 30% the last 2 games prior to this one. Here's Steptoe. And Ramey unable to hang on to the rebound. It was Noah Allen complicating the rebounding effort there on that sequence.
But you actually had Ramey and Eddie Davis III going after the basketball, with both of them having the hand on the ball. As a guard, you've got to know to get off and let the big fella have that one, because he's going to have a better chance of securing the basketball.
And so it belongs out of bounds to Southern Miss. UH on a 6-0 run. There's the Hawaii fans in the building, very happy about the Rainbow Warriors' football victory last night at Aloha Stadium, claiming the Hawaii Bowl against Middle Tennessee. Davis too hard off the glass there. It marks a bit of a turnaround, certainly, for Nick Rolovich in his first year as head coach for the Hawaii program. They had realized 5 straight losing seasons, that is, until that victory last night. And there is a foul committed on a hard cut to the bucket by Steptoe. D'Angelo Richardson with the foul. 2 of the more diminutive players that we have on the floor here in this game.
Steptoe making a big difference here today for the Rainbow Warriors. He actually knocked down the first shot of the game for Hawaii and has been very steady at the point guard position. I was expecting him to be more of a guy trying to get his own coming into the game, but he's been doing a great job of facilitating as well.
He's a walk-on sophomore from Dallas, Texas. You know, he also is an MC in his spare time. In fact, he and Mike Thomas, a returning starter who's redshirting coming off of wrist surgery, they've actually gotten in the studio and they've laid down some tracks. As Richardson with a hard drive can't finish. Steptoe with a bit of a gift with the lyrics. I think they're going to maybe think about doing something on a more serious level here. You can check out some of his posts on Twitter and even SoundCloud. They have some of the tracks available.
Have you listened to any of the tracks they have lately?
I have.
Is it something that I can dance to?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Definitely. Oh, here's a poke away by Dramé. Gets it down low to Allen. Misses from up close. And it's going to be a foul against Southern Miss.
Oh, they got my man, Little Spoon.
Yeah, Clay Weatherspoon making his first appearance of the game. 6'2" freshman from Jackson, Mississippi, the son of Southern Miss legend and now assistant coach Clarence Weatherspoon.
Big Spoon and Little Spoon. Little Spoon getting a little bit of time on the court. Had an opportunity to talk to him yesterday as the Southern Miss Golden Eagles went yesterday morning over to Pearl Harbor to check out Pearl Harbor, then practice, and then a dinner at the Hard Rock Cafe last night. Christmas Eve dinner.
Jermaine up off the glass and in. And Hawaii on a 10-0 run. They are starting to really secure the grip here on this ball game with under 9 minutes to go. What has Hawaii done well to get them to this now 21-point advantage?
I think this has been their ball movement, you know, the entire game.
Nice triple there by Eddie Davis, his second make from outside the arc.
Where they've had one player creating an opportunity for others. And like I say, just when anytime you can cause a double team, you're going to get somebody open. And I believe we've seen that from the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors today as they hold an 18-point lead over the Southern Miss Golden Eagles here in Paradise.
Well, during the off day in the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic, Southern Miss took it upon themselves to take in a bit of history as they visited Pearl Harbor and the USS Arizona Memorial. Of course, this year marked the 75th anniversary of the December 7th bombings at Pearl Harbor, and so certainly an opportunity for some of the teams that have made this trip here in the early part of this basketball season to understand a little bit more of the weight that day had on the history of this country.
Absolutely, and I've been there a number of times. It's a very sobering moment when you get an opportunity to go over there and learn more and more about what happened that day at Pearl Harbor. It just gives you so much greater appreciation for our veterans and the people that have laid their lives on the line for us to have the freedom that we have today. And of course, I'm a guy that enjoys having a lot of fun, and I appreciate the people that allow me to do this and go out and fight the battles for us to be able to do it.
Well said, my friend. Under 8 minutes to play in this game as Hawaii leads by 18. Southern Miss was able to finally score prior to the timeout that ended a field goal drought of almost 6.5 minutes, and that's been kind of a theme for Southern Miss. They have just gone straight up cold at times this season.
Well, and Hawaii's had their issues with that as well, but today I believe, and again, Southern Miss defensively hasn't been great, but give Hawaii credit for what they've been able to do on the offensive end of the floor.
Leland Green missing that one bad. And another timeout on the floor. Hawaii by 18. 7:23 left to play here in the 7th place game on Christmas Day.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Hawaiian Airlines, sponsor of the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic. Hawaii flies with us. Outrigger Hotels and Resorts. Welcome to a world away at Outrigger Hotels and Resorts. And Angry Orchard Hard Cider. Branch out.
We still got 3 more star-studded games for you as our annual NBA on Christmas Day tradition continues. Next up, the Bulls take on the Spurs, then to ESPN for the T-Wolves and Thunder, wrapping up the day at 10:30 with the Clippers versus the Lakers. All the games can be seen on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
I've got 3 favorites on that screen right there. San Antonio Spurs, my favorite place I ever played as a professional athlete. Oklahoma City Thunder, Russell Westbrook, my favorite player in the NBA right now. And the Los Angeles Lakers, my favorite all-time franchise. So my 3 favorites going on right there. Not to say they're going to win, but because the Lakers right now, even though it's my favorite franchise, the Clippers are the best team in LA.
Davis, good spin move, power finish at the rim. Davis having a decent ball game. He's got 10 points and 7 boards. Meanwhile, Leland Green for Hawaii getting a rare start here as of late in this game. He has a career-high 3 assists and 10 rebounds from the guard position. He is currently on the bench resting up a bit. So Hawaii trying to hold on here. Up by 16, trying to record a win in the Diamond Head Classic. Bad pass and a steal by Jermaine, and that's something that Jermaine can do. When he gets ahead of steam, He has those long strides, and he can get up the floor in a hurry. Quentin Campbell coming in and committing the foul.
But another unforced turnover by Southern Miss. The double team, maybe not unforced, the double team makes Davis get rid of the basketball, but a bad pass pretty much leads to a fast break for Hawaii.
So Dramé going to the free throw line. A 6'3" junior from Stockholm, Sweden, averaging 9.8 points per game. The lone returning rotational player available for Eran Ganot here this season. We mentioned Mike Thomas. He was a returning starter. He's currently on the bench rehabilitating from wrist surgery that he underwent in the offseason. So Eran Ganot having to replace so much production at both ends of the floor.
But Eran Ganot did get an opportunity to inherit a great team a year ago. So, I mean, again, the second year is normally the hardest year in a job. He had an unbelievable first year, winning a NCAA tournament game for the first time in the history of the program. An unbelievable team that you had a chance to knock off Oklahoma here on its home court. Missed that by a split second at the end of the game. Well, I can remember what was a questionable call and a questionable no call at the end of that one. But, you know, a great year for Eran Ganot in his first season as the head coach of the Rainbow Warriors. And now, you know, they'll have to take some of the lumps that come along with being a college basketball coach.
Yeah, won 28 games. That was the record for a first-year coach in the Big West Conference, surpassing the previous record held by Jerry Tarkanian and Lute Olson, of course, legendary coaches who began their careers at Long Beach State.
Absolutely. Whenever you're mentioned in the same sentence as Tark the Shark and Cool Hand Lute.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
you've
done well for yourself, young man. And I can call him young man because he's only 34 years old,
That's
I believe.
Right. He was 33 when he was hired. Now officially 35 years of age, but yeah, he's younger than both of us.
Yeah, he's got us.
Dramé goes cross court. Extra pass to Purchase, lets it fly and hits. That's when you know you're in it.
And again, another extra pass. Noah Allen could have taken that shot, but he saw Purchase sprinting to get to that corner, and the extra pass gave Purchase just enough time to be able to get that shot off. And the way he shot the basketball today, he deserves to get those looks.
5 made threes for Jack Purchase, the 6'8" sophomore from Melbourne, Australia.
And you start with the skip pass, cross court from Dramé to find Allen, who could have taken that shot, but he sees Purchase trying to get to that corner three, and out of the corner of his eye, he spots him as Purchase is able to knock it down.
Brock Steptoe committing that last foul. Following that up, Zigmar's Raimo, who picks up a foul. Going to the backcourt to retrieve the inbound pass was Ramey.
That's always dangerous because when do you actually establish that you're in the front court or the back court? Jumping over that line to catch the inbound pass.
Campbell, yes, much needed bucket for Southern Miss. Right now, Southern Miss is trying to avoid a dubious distinction. The fewest points scored in a single game in Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic history is 43 by Auburn versus Long Beach State in 2011. Here's Dramé for three. Got it. A barrage of three-point field goals by Hawaii in this game. That's their 10th made triple.
And that's been the biggest difference in this game. 10 threes from Hawaii, and they shot it so well to start the game. It opened up everything else for them on the offensive end of the floor.
The last time it was Sharif Dramé trying to get in on the three-point party. Jack Purchase leading the way with 5 made threes. That's one off of his career high. But a new Sharif in town. Dramé on Christmas Day. beautiful Christmas day here in Honolulu, Hawaii. It's almost bittersweet because it's the final day of the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic, which means goodbye to some of this scenery for many members of the crew making the trip, my partner Corey Alexander included. But it's been all good so far for Hawaii, especially Jack Purchase, 17 points, 5 of 9 from outside the arc.
And fortunately for Purchase, his scenery will get to stay the same as he plays his home games on this court. And he seemed to love it here so far. 5 3-pointers on the morning as he's able to find every opportunity from beyond the arc and make true on it. 5 for 9 from beyond the arc in this game. And Purchase continues to stretch the defense for the Rainbow Warriors.
5 of 10 overall from the floor, but again, 9 of those 10 field goal attempts coming from behind the line. He also has 4 assists as Hawaii's been moving the ball around the court fairly effectively. Again, Southern Miss with Quentin Campbell at the line, trying to avoid setting the new individual game record for fewest points scored. Previous record 43 set by Auburn versus Long Beach State in 2011. They also must score now 12 more points to avoid becoming the lowest scoring team in tournament history as a whole.
Well, the way that they've operated for the first 36 minutes of this game, I think they have a chance of getting over 43. I don't think they're going to have the chance on the other one, though. I believe they will set the record for the lowest scoring team in tournament history for the combined 3 games.
And how much of that is a lack of execution on their part? How much of that is tough defense played by Hawaii today?
I think more of it has to do with the lack of execution on their part, but they're also playing without a number of their pieces. And Tim Rowe, especially their big man up front. And when you don't have, just one guy in your lineup can throw off your rotation as far as who you bring off the bench and everything else that goes on in your program as Purchase unloads for another 3, unable to finish it.
Another rebound for Green, but he misses from up close.
But Watts coming up gimpy after that, stayed on the floor.
And that's something that certainly Doc Sadler does not want to see. Now, Southern Miss does have a week off. Their first league game is against Louisiana Tech at home. That's on New Year's Day to tip off Conference USA play. But they certainly don't want to have to deal with yet another injury. Already with Tim Rowe, their 6'11 sophomore center, sitting the last 2 games with an injured foot. Now they're looking at Raheem Watts. For Hawaii, one more tune-up, so to speak, as they'll go up against Delaware State on the 29th in this building, as Holland misses the step back. And then Hawaii will open Big West Conference play on the road against Cal State Fullerton on January 5th. That'll actually be the first game Hawaii plays this season away from the island of Oahu, as Steptoe misses the 3. They participated in the Pearl Harbor Invitational a couple weeks back.
They also played in the Rainbow Classic.
Also played in the Rainbow Classic, which is on this floor.
No, I get all that. I mean, why would you ever want to leave Hawaii?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, so like I said, you get great competition by staying here and playing.
Sure.
Leave why?
They come to you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Is there a concern, though, that they haven't experienced enough of a road environment going into conference play?
Well, I think with this, inexperienced team, you're going to have those same issues regardless as to when you do have to play against that road environment. But I'm not sure that that's the biggest concern for Coach Ganot at this time, as more as it is to be able to establish the way that they want to play and what their identity is going to be as a team. And I think they've been able to do some of that tonight on the offensive end of the floor. Defensively, I think they've kind of figured out who they're going to be all year long. So this offensive execution, I believe, can build some confidence for them moving forward.
Clay Weatherspoon committing the foul. That sends Zigmar's Raimo to the free throw line. Free throw is good. Tonight, after a full day of the NBA on ESPN, you don't want to miss SportsCenter at night with Max and the Coach. They'll have all the highlights and breakdowns, the Ravens, Steelers, and Broncos, Chiefs, Week 16 games, SportsCenter at night after Clippers-Lakers on ESPN. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Happy holidays to all. We're glad you could join us here on this Christmas Day. Final day of the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic. Utah already securing 5th place in the tournament with the win earlier today over Stephen F. Austin. Quentin Campbell knocking down the triple. Hawaii trying to put the finishing touches on a 7th place finish. They have never gone 0-3 in the Diamond Head Classic. Of course, this is all a build-up to the championship tilt at 8 Eastern on this Stan Sheriff Center floor. San Diego State and San Francisco, all Cali final. Zach Busher, graduate of Iolani School, by the way.
Oh, yeah, okay. Proud alum.
Here's Ramey. Got it.
Oh, there it is, 44 points.
Upcoming games, Tulsa, Illinois State for 3rd place. That's 6 Eastern on ESPN2, and then following that one, scheduled for 8 Eastern on ESPN2, San Diego State and San Francisco. More clearing of the bench for the Rainbow Warriors. And this has to feel good for Eran Ganot and his team. They had struggled 4 straight double-digit defeats leading into this game. And they finally have an opportunity to empty the bench with a large lead here against Southern Miss.
Even more importantly, the supporters of the program who've come out on Christmas morning to watch the team play, to reward them with a win here on their home court. This is a beautiful arena, by the way. I mean, the on-campus facility like this, but I guess you kind of have to have a beautiful arena in a place like Honolulu. I mean, it'd be hard not to.
Good-looking finish there by Larry Lewis. Hawaii now up 16. Southern Miss has a bunch of the reserves in there as well. Christian Clark with it. He's a freshman. And a nice finish by D'Angelo Richardson. So certainly work to do for both these teams. But Hawaii able to finish the Diamond Head Classic at least on a winning note. As for Southern Miss, they're able to avoid the distinction of the fewest points scored in a single game, but they will finish this tournament with 161 total points, and that is a new record low. 163 was the previous mark. There is the final horn. 60-46. Your final score. Corey, it's been fun.
It has been fun, my man. I've enjoyed it. Mele Kalikimaka to everyone out there. Our Christmas pineapple is on the way back. I hope it sits right between Dino Gaudio and Roxy Bernstein tonight.
All right, well, Santa's coming in on the canoe. Corey, you got to meet him over at the dock. Join us here in Honolulu at 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2 for Tulsa and Illinois State. For Corey Alexander and our entire crew, I'm Kanoa Leahy, Mele Kalikimaka, and aloha.